At Capella University, you're in control of your education. With the game-changing FlexPath format, you can set your own deadlines and move at your own pace. The faster you move, the more you save. Visit capella.edu to learn more.
I haven't really woken up until I've had my McDonald's breakfast deal. And I know this is true because before breakfast, I put my phone in the refrigerator and couldn't find the keys that were already in my hand.
Nothing gets the morning going like the first sip of an iced coffee. Get any size and any flavor for 99 cents until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? 0800 yo fam, whatever in it. Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? 0800 yo fam, whatever in it. 0800 yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? I'm Khalid Omari and I am the host of 0800 yo fam. This is the second live broadcasted podcast. By the time you hear this on like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, all of those other services, it would have been transmitted live the night before. And I have probably around about 65 minutes to record this podcast, edit it, make it look gravy and put it out to the world, you know. But we always rise to the challenges around here. I don't shirk away from responsibility. This is what I do. You get me? But yeah, man, today's session, it was all sparked by a series of tweets that I made, you know. It's like they were made at 3 p.m. and what inspired this flurry of tweets was the fact that at work at the moment we are delving into International Women's Month, and the more I research, the more I find out, I'm like, wow, why didn't I know this? You know what I'm saying? And the more I delve into the histories of these amazing women that have done amazing things and made amazing contributions and inventions to the world, I find myself wondering, why are their histories so hidden? And someone like me, I'm just naturally intrigued and naturally want to highlight some form of injustice. So through my digging, I just wanted to highlight some of the names and figures and stories on episode 50. To be honest, it's still quite a bit weird that I've got to episode 50, to be honest, because when I first recorded the podcast, it was more like a bit of a prototype, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? This wasn't a thing. I was just meant to record a few episodes that I used to post on the Whatever In It blog. Like, and then it kind of turned into a thing. People were like, yeah, I'm feeling this, man. But then, to be honest, one of my old friends used to say to me years ago, like, Khalid, you really should think about recording what you write and put it into podcast. So I guess it's been a 10-year manifestation or 11-year manifestation to get up to this point. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So, interesting fact, right? My journey began with research about women's football for a last-minute presentation at work. And through extensive research and looking at videos to show, because, you know, you don't want to just present off a screen and stuff like that. You want to show a little video and discuss it afterwards. Well, that's my facilitation style anyway. I came across a video that highlighted that in the 1920s, the women's game of football was much more popular than the men's, and the FA banned women's football for about 40 years. And it had me thinking, like, rah, like, for a sport that I love so much, you know how I do, like, I love jerseys, I love watching highlights, I follow a lot of different teams, and just to hear that, right, I was like, rah, that's a bit fucked up still. And it made me think, imagine if they didn't cancel the women's game or put it on hold, where would women's sports be right now? Women have contributed a great deal to society and our experiences, and yet their legacies continue to remain hidden. Imagine how many women would have linked up and innovated if historically they weren't silenced by men. The technology sector owes so much to women pioneers of technology and coding, yet their histories and legacies remain hidden. Why is that? We all owe it to ourselves to learn and research more, share and celebrate what we've discovered, and support our young women growing up to see themselves represented in industries that are traditionally viewed as male-dominated. It's a fact. So the first female that I would like to highlight is Ada Lovelace, born on the 10th of December 1815. She was an English mathematician and writer, chiefly known for her work on Charles Babbage's proposed mechanical general-purpose computer, the analytical engine. She was the first to recognize that the machine had applications beyond pure calculation, and to have published the first algorithm intended to be carried out by such a machine. As a result, she is often regarded as the first computer programmer. Her education and social exploits brought her into contact with scientists such as Andrew Cross, Charles Babbage, Sir David Brewster, Charles Wheatstone, Michael Faraday, and the author Charles Dickens, contacts which she used to further her education. Ada described her approach as poetical science, and herself as an analysis and metaphysician. Another interesting fact about Ada is that her father is Lord Byron the poet. So it's almost as though that way of thinking is passed down to her, and she's kind of applied it to computers, which is crazy. It's mad. You know, I've got a lot more to share, but what I would suggest doing is, if you head to whateverinnit.com or 0800 YoFam whatever in it, when I post the article, I would share the other parts of the history as well in the elaborated written blog post. So next up we have Madame Curie, also known as Mary Curie, born on the 7th of November 1867. She was a Polish and naturalized French physicist and chemist who conducted pioneering research on radioactivity. As the first of the Curie family legacy of 5 Nobel Prizes, she was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, the first and only woman to win the Nobel Prize twice, and the only person to win the Nobel Prize in 2 scientific fields. She was the first woman to become a professor at the University of Paris in 1906. Mad thing. We're going to move on to Hedy Lamarr, born on November the 9th, 1914. She was an Austrian-born American actress, inventor, and film producer. She appeared in 30 films over a 28-year career and co-invented an early version of frequency hopping spread spectrum communication for torpedo guidance. And that translates into Wi-Fi as well. She was a pioneer of Wi-Fi. So imagine in this world if we didn't have Wi-Fi, how mad it would be. I wouldn't be able to stream because I'm in my creative space and my router is in the living room. So I wouldn't be able to do it without Hedy Lamarr's brain. I wouldn't be able to, probably use OBS, use these computers and technologies without someone like Ada Lovelace's forward thinking into how computing or the tools at their disposal, what they was invented, can be applied to everyday situations, whereas man like Babbage and them ones were in a power race, you know. Next up we have Katherine Johnson, born August 26, 1918. That's one day after my birthday, so big up Katherine, Virgo crew. Boop, boop. She was an American mathematician whose calculations of orbital mechanics as a NASA employee were critical to the success of the first and subsequent US crewed space flights. During her 35-year career at NASA and its predecessor, she earned a reputation for mastering complex manual calculations and helped pioneer the use of computers to perform the task. The space agency noted her historical role as one of the first African American women to work as a NASA scientist. You know, she's flying the flag. And think about it like this. She was not only, you know, judged and deprived of a lot of opportunities that she had to fight for and kick down doors for based on the colour of her skin, but also she suffered prejudice as a result of her gender. You know, so maximum respect. Big up Katherine Johnson. You know what I'm saying? You know, in 2015, President Barack Obama awarded Johnson the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And if you haven't seen the film Hidden Figures, I'd suggest watching it, because part of Katherine's story is featured in that film. You know, and there's a book about Hidden Figures as well. So far, out here, you know, discussing some of the hidden histories behind some of the most pivotal figures within the last 100 years or so. It's a must that we pay homage to these women. It's a must that we raise awareness. And some of you may already know of these historical figures. I am just sharing what I've discovered because I am new to hearing about them. So next up, we have Marie Van Britten Brown, born on October the 30th, 1922. She was a nurse and an innovator. In 1966, she invented the home security system along with her husband Albert Brown, an electronics technician. In the same year, they applied for a patent for their innovative security system, which was granted in 1969. Brown was born in Jamaica, Queens, New York. And you know, that's the same place where 50 Cent is from, Run DMC, Russell Simmons. A whole host of people are from Jamaica, Queens. Tribe Called Quest, well, some of the members anyway. The innovation was essentially the first closed-circuit television security system and is the predecessor to modern home systems today. It was the foundation for video monitoring, remote-controlled door locks, push-button alarm triggers, instant messaging to security providers and police, as well as two-way voice communication. Brown's invention has led to the creation of many new home security systems that rely on video systems, remote door locks, and quick emergency response actions. These systems have become the leading security for homes and small businesses all over the world. The fame of Brown's device also led to the more prevalent CCTV surveillance in public areas. Think about it. What is it? What's that ring? That ring app with a doorbell and stuff. If it wasn't for Marie Van Britten Brown, would we have door? You know? And she came up with the invention because she worked as a nurse. And a lot of the jobs back then were like 9 to 5. And in the neighborhood where she lived, there was a lot of home invasions and burglaries and stuff. So that's how she came to innovate and create something. So she saw an opportunity, created the solution. Next up, we have Chien Xiong Wu, born May 31st, 1912. Chien was a Chinese-American experimental physicist who made significant contributions in the field of nuclear physics. Wu worked on the Manhattan Project, where she helped develop the process for separating uranium into uranium-235 and uranium-238 isotopes by gaseous diffusion. She is best known for conducting the Wu experiment, which proved that parity is not conserved. The discovery resulted in her colleagues Sung Dao Li and Chen Ning Yang winning the 1957 Nobel Peace Prize in Physics, while Wu herself was awarded the inaugural Wolf Prize in Physics in 1978. Her expertise in experimental physics evoked comparisons to Marie Curie. Her nicknames include the First Lady of Physics, the Chinese Madame Curie, and the Queen of Nuclear Research. Trust me, her story is a very interesting one. Very, very interesting. It's like later on in her life, she protested and, and became an activist against kind of placing Taiwanese professors and lecturers in jail unfairly. So yeah, she's definitely standing up for what she believes in and the rights of her people. So fully rate that. The next one, I read her story and it's sad, man. It's sad. That's why we have to change the narrative. That's why we have to research and share, because some people can innovate and go their whole lifetimes without even being recognized. It's mad. You know? Elizabeth Friedman, born August 26, 1892. Again, one day after my birthday, big up Elizabeth, innit? Widely known as America's first female cryptanalysis. In World War I, Elizabeth and William, her husband, directed an unofficial code-breaking team employed by the national government. During the Prohibition era, she was responsible for breaking codes used by narcotics and alcohol smugglers, incriminating high-profile mob-run rum rings, tongue twister, including that of Al Capone in New Orleans. But her biggest achievement was uncovering a Nazi spy ring operating across South America in 1943, a feat that J. Edgar Hoover took full credit for on behalf of the FBI. Friedman, meanwhile, took her involvement to the grave. So basically, man like J. Edgar Hoover was running up his mouth saying that, you know, he's that guy and he was doing the thing when he didn't do the thing. Like, imagine that. Man is just lying on her name. It's mad. Think about that. How many more women out there have had their credit stolen that we don't know about? You know what I'm saying? And continue to not know about. But because she pledged an oath to the Navy, yeah, which was something like, you would take this credit for this or silence to your death, it allowed someone like J. Edgar Hoover to take credit and then build his career going upwards. So yeah, big up Elizabeth Friedman, man. It's sad. So moving on. I wonder if I've got any more people with like a similar birthday to mine, because I find that mega interesting. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to adjust the timeline on this because I don't want to run out of, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to run out of tune or instrumental for this and fly on the silent tip, you get me? But if I do, it is what it is, man, and I'm not even going to edit this. So come again. So let me just make sure that I've not done this one twice. Okay, I haven't. So Mary Jackson, April 9th, 1921. An American mathematician and aerospace engineer at the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, NACA, which in 1958 was succeeded by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. She worked at Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia for most of her career. She started as a computer, like an actual, trust me, because they were so good at maths, these people were actually called computers. Like, it's not even a joke. Actually called computers. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no other name for them because computers weren't widely known like that. You know? But anyway, moving on. She started as a computer at the segregated West Area Computing Division in 1951. She took advanced engineering classes and in 1958 became NASA's first black female engineer. Like I said, she is one of the three portrayed in Hidden Figures. It's the book, it's the movie, it's on all your favorite streaming services, and I advise to watch it. It is, for me, it was a frustrating watch because I was like, man, it always happens to black folks, man. We always do something and, you know, we never get the rightful credit that we deserved. But also, through my research into, like, you know, hidden histories of women, I'm just frustrated at the fact that I don't know. And these things weren't taught in school and they're not widely known unless you kind of educate yourself, which is sad. Mad thing. Alright, so Lena Richardson, born September the 11th, 1892, is a chef, cookbook author, restaurateur, frozen food entrepreneur, and television host from New Orleans, Louisiana. On October the 20th, 1939, Richard became the first black woman to host her own television cooking show. Her show aired from October 1949 to November 1950 on a local television station. Imagine that, like, frozen food entrepreneur. Like, how many of us have frozen meals in our ovens? I don't really do the frozen food thing, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? There's certain times at work when they do a food run and they're like, oh, we're buying you all lunch today, and they come back with ready meals. I'm like, boy, I don't really mess with the ready meals and that, but you know, it is what it is. Some people love that shit. I think I'm scarred by lasagna back in the day. You know them ones, like bag of lasagnas from like Iceland, pop it in the microwave, it's a done deal, innit? That was before I discovered that the oven is much more suited to such things. You know what I'm saying? It's a mad thing, but yeah, like, we move. We actually move. So Hinda Miller, rewind and come again. So Hinda Miller, Lisa Lindahl, and Polly Palmer Smith, right? Lisa Lindahl was one of millions of Americans who started jogging as part of the running and fitness boom that swept the United States in the 1970s, but as much as she loved running, it was painful because supportive running bras didn't exist. Lindahl teamed up with her childhood friend, costume designer Polly Palmer Smith, and Smith's colleague Hinda Miller to solve that problem. They deconstructed two women's athletic supporters and sewed the pieces into a prototype sports bra they called Jog Bra. Lindahl and Miller first sold their invention through mail orders and quickly expanded into a successful company. Like, I think brands like Nike, Adidas, Reebok, all of those brands owe quite a lot to those ladies. You know what I'm saying? Because they definitely was innovating and doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. I think what I've learned about researching the contributions of these inventors and these innovators is the fact that it reinforces the point of when you see an opportunity or an obstacle, don't complain, find a solution to get over, get around, or get through it. You know? So big up the ladies. I've got one more to share with you, which is Susan Kate, born February the 5th, 1954. Susan is an American artist and graphic designer best known for her interface elements and typeface contributions to the first Apple Macintosh from 1983 to 1986. Mad! And you know what? It's apt that the sound came off there. Like, if you know me, you know how big I am into Apple and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let me rewind and come again. You get me? Rewind and come again. So, run it back. Susan Kate was an American artist and graphic designer best known for her interface elements and typeface contributions to the first Apple Macintosh from 1983 to 1986. She was employee number 10. Employee number 10. I think globally, I don't even know how much employees Apple have, but she was number 10. And creative director at Next, the company formed by Steve Jobs after he left Apple in 1985 before his return in the late 90s, early 2000s. She was a direct consultant for Microsoft, IBM, Sony Pictures and Facebook, and she is now an employee of Pinterest. As an early pioneer of pixel art and the graphical computer interface, she has been celebrated as one of the most significant technologists of the modern world. You know what? Let me do an iPad drop. Hope it don't drop. Is this even being recorded? I'll do an iPad drop. I'm gonna drop. Oh, hope I ain't bracket. You know, that's a mad thing. I'm going to stop this podcast right there on that point, because that is phenomenal. Like, you think about how iconic Macintoshes were when they first arrived. You know what I'm saying? And the fact is, when you read up about... Oh, sorry, getting excited. When you read up about Susan Kate's story, right? One of the most significant things is when she was hollered to, like, join the thing by her brethren... That was, I think he was head of design or something, right? She had no idea how to use computer for graphic design. She had no idea. But she's like, it's that thing that brings home the mantra of say yes to every opportunity. She said yes, right? I think she was living out in Philadelphia. She said yes, jumped on a plane to Cupertino, went to the library, got a couple books and started studying, put them in her bag just in case. When she went to the interview, it was a very green interview, like fresh and whatnot. When she went to the interview and someone wanted to challenge her, she could just bring out the books and be like, yo, I'm 30, I'm about this life. But I think the person who hollered at her, one of her old college buddies, to come down there for the interview because he had recommended her because she used to work with sculpture and stuff like that. I believe that he recommended that she go out, get a pad with the smallest graph paper squares, and that's how she constructed the icons and typefaces. And what she used as inspiration, right, was she used art history as her inspiration. She didn't look at computers, nothing. She looked at art history and thought, how can I make this so engaging? Like, it's mind-blowing, man. Like, it's actually sick. And these are the hidden histories that I'm saying that we need to know about, we need to share, and we need to keep spreading it. You know what I'm saying? Because more people need to know about it. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, if it wasn't for me digging into things such as you know, women's football, and finding that video about the FA banning women's football because it was more popular than the men's game, like, I think I wouldn't be on this path of sharing this with you for episode 50. This has been a very special episode. Thank you for tuning into the stream. I haven't checked what it looks like. I'm not sure what the quality is. I haven't got a tab open for the chat features and all of that, just in case anyone is interacting with me and whatnot. You know, it's definitely frizzesh, as they say, or no one says that, I just say that, but it's definitely fresh. Oh, sick. It sounds sick and it looks sick. But you know what? I'm going to close out there. So 0800 Yo fam, what's good, what's popping? This is the Whatever In It podcast. I'm Khalid Omari at 0800 Yo fam, at Where Is KO. And you know what? You'll hear from me on Sunday. The episode will drop on Monday. This episode right here drops on all your podcast streaming services at 12 midnight. So I've pretty much got 40 minutes to do a cover, to upload and to schedule. Peace out. I'm gone. Thank you for being with me on this amazing journey into broadcasting it. And I'm sweating because I'm wearing a woolly hat in the house. The heater's on. But yeah, I'm gone. Peace. Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? 0800 Yo fam, whatever in it. Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? 0800 Yo fam, whatever in it. Holler at me for the podcast. It's the coldest podcast. I said holler at me for the podcast. Mondays and Thursdays. I said holler at me on the podcast. It's the Wavy Podcast. It's like holler at me on the podcast. Subscribe.
You wear a life jacket when you're out on the water and a bike helmet when you're out on the trail. Chances are you're a fan of added confidence. And so are we, especially when you're out on the road. That's why the 2022 Chevy Equinox comes standard with Chevy Safety Assist. 6 advanced safety features to help you stay safe. Find new confidence, find new roads. Chevrolet. Visit Chevy.com/safety to learn more about Chevy Safety Assist. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle's owner's manual for more important feature limitations and information.
So we're here at Marshall's with Liz for some holiday shopping.
She's really nailing it this year, isn't she?
Oh, yep. She's got a record player for Amy.
A gorgeous cozy sweater for Jason.
And some hot pink fluffy slippers for her sister.
The perfect gift.
Wait a sec.
She's getting a pair for herself.
Well, with prices this good, it would be rude not to.
You know what? She totally deserves it.
Oh, totally.
Happy holidays, everyone. See you at Marshall's.
Fabulous brands.
Feel good prices at Marshall's.